I'm sure some of you guys out there have those days where you have a little too much ambition. Getting home from work, off the road, doing trucker stuff, and you just decide to come home and for some reason just shit your entire day away on something that's probably not gonna get you anywhere at the end. So I decided to get the old car out of the garage here that, well, I pushed in there about a year and a half ago. So let's there she is, nicely covered in dust. And well, I figure I'm gonna run down to the Albany Walmart here, which the Dollar General down the way, and get some WD-40 or something, some trans fluid, some Marvel mystery oil, or whatever they have on hand, and some oil. And I don't have a filter for this, but it's fine. Just, I kind of want to see if I could get this thing running. I know it'll run, but when I parked it, the reason being was number 7 cylinder just oil coated the spark plug, and got a little blow by now, so I'm pretty sure the ring's stuck right to the piston. So I'm gonna see if I can't get that unstuck, and I'll take you guys along a ride here. So I guess grab a beer if you're in Wisconsin, get yourself a Liney's, because it's the right thing to do, and we'll check in once I get some stuff here. Oh, here's the car. She's a little dusty from sitting in the old garage for all that time. Obviously the tires are a little low, and this isn't the original hood. This is the one I've got on one of the other Camaros out back. But I've got the original Z28 hood in the garage with the, the fake louvers and all that stuff. And just a little walk around of the car here. It's a Z28. It's an 87. The last year you could get just the Z28 without the IROC package. 88 to 90, if you wanted a Z car, you could only get the IROC. You couldn't get the Z28, which was considered the lower car. So this one, 87, I picked it up a few years back, had about 34,000 on it. It sat out in the sun, the paint's all faded. It's got a couple dings here, like on the door. I don't know what happened there, but someone tried and failed to blend the paint. It's what do I call this? Midnight Sapphire is the name of the color. As you can see, I haven't driven it in a couple years. Got the old, and she's a true Z28, and yeah, it's missing a couple center caps. I always wanted to order those, and of course you had someone that decided to put some duct tape on the door, because that's a good thing to do when you leave a car sit for 20 years. Is when someone breaks a window, just duct tape it on and leave it bake in the sun. That's beautiful. So I haven't opened this car forever, and I'm afraid of what it smells like. We got some car cleaning stuff there, a couple beer cans. We're gonna go ahead and push that in the way there, and it smells awful in here. It's not so much mouse droppings, I don't think, because I never left any food in this car, but she's pretty pungent. So let's pull these T-tops out here and try not to shatter them as I set them on the ground. Oh, that's probably a smart way to set them, so that way they just swing out and shatter. Yeah, and get some airflow in here, because this actually has power windows. I don't have a battery in it, so we're gonna air it out here, and just, oh God, that smells awful. This is the worst part about living out in the middle of the country on an old farm is, oh my God, even if the critters don't eat anything, they just get in there and they stink it up. And obviously I've had a cat or a raccoon running around on this thing. We'll drop the other T-top here. Oh man, that one's kind of hot. Only been sitting in the sun for 5 minutes. So go back around. I don't even know what that is. There's just all kinds of stuff laying on this car. I'm sure a lot of you know how it goes. You have something in your garage and you don't do nothing with it, and then it becomes just another storage shelf. Original steering wheel. I think I don't even know how many miles I put on it when I was running it. Yeah, I put about 3,000 on it. You know, everything's there, and it's... I was thinking with some stuff up under here. This is obviously a seat out of my other car. They're matching patterns, but one's black because it's not the same color. And the original seat for this car is actually power. This car is pretty well loaded originally. It had the center console that goes up here with a little Camaro flashlight in it. It's got the premium interior, whatever the hell that is. You know, of course, 700 R4, which is what it is. But before I pop the hood, I'll show you probably the most interesting part of this car. Is right here. Tells you what it is right on the dash. This is a true tune port car, which was kind of neat. Except if you ever want to make any kind of horsepower with it. So I don't know if I actually latched this. Yeah, I latched it down. You're going to see the Camaro 500 here as many times as I walk around this damn car. So let's pop the... it might be popped. There's no spring on this aftermarket fiberglass hood, so you really don't know for sure if it popped. Yep, there we go. It's, of course, not bolted down, but we'll give her a lift. And there she is. I don't know what I did with the alternator. That's around here somewhere. The air tube, probably somewhere too. And the valve cover, I don't even know why I took that off, but that's laying in there. If not, I've got just oodles of small block Chevys laying around that we can peel parts off, plus that other Camaro, an old Chevy, couple old Chevy trucks out back, and a couple of Dodges just to mix it up. So the battery's gone. The belt's still there. That's a plus. I don't remember putting a new power steering belt on this car. I must have. But yeah, this is the LB9 305. And of course, being an automatic, they didn't want to put the hot camshaft in it because they knew the 700s were junk. So this one makes, what were they rated at? Like 190 horse, which is just absolutely pathetic. And the old spark plug vacuum blocker there, that was for some kind of crankcase ventilation when she was having some real bad blow by. I didn't want her eating all of it. So I took the AC pump out and all that stuff, but yeah, spark plug wires are still there. All right, and kind of everything's here, and I have no idea why I'm doing this, but let's make a run to the parts store, and I'm actually just gonna pull. Oh God, oh, mice must have gotten in that hood scoop there. I just set it down and got a whiff. Whew. So anyway, I'm gonna run to the parts store. We'll just lift that hood off, and if I could get it running without, you know, filling my entire garage with smoke as if it's a fireman training exercise, we'll bolt the other hood on it, and let's see if this thing can drive anywhere without fogging a neighborhood. So stay tuned for the next segment coming up. Well, for you guys right now, but for me, whenever the hell I go get this stuff. So check her out when we come back. Well, I figure we're gonna go grab them fluids and such that we need for this old girl. And I mean, I could take a pickup truck or that pickup truck, or, well, not that one. That's got a blown head gasket. But we should have enough room for a couple bottles of stuff in the swing arm bag on the other side. So we'll just fire this up. At least get some people excited for. Oh, good, it's in neutral. I got the high beam on, but let's haven't been on this bike in a week. Yeah, 1.5. This has got an S&S carb on it, so it's got the accelerator pump. Let's see. There we go. We'll take this into town. It ain't far. my other hot rod. Got an 88 twin cam, punched out the 95, got some hog sticks in there, thunder header, of course Super G carb. I need to put a heat range colder spark plug in here because when it's real hot out, it likes the diesel. It's got quite a bit of timing, and I pretty much got to run it on fucking 110. You know, keep her from dieseling when she's hot. So one of these days I'm gonna grab just a heat range holder plug so I can run pump gas, not have to worry about it. But yeah, nice little parts runner. We'll take her into town and get the stuff we need, and then we'll be right back on that car. Well, we made her to the old white trash Walmart here, and got our repair supplies for the old Camaro. That's my finger there. Everyone likes seeing that. I got some ATF. Got some. This is real easy to do with one hand, let me tell you. I need an assistant. Make sure people don't think I'm nuts because I'm sitting out here talking to myself. Some PB Blaster. Some WD. I'll just go ahead and cram this. Oh, for Pete's sake. Cram this last one in here, some S.T.P. oil stuff with some zinc in it. There's my finger again. I'm real good at this video stuff. We'll just go ahead and put that in here, and we'll get rolling back to the car. Well, we'll do a quick walk around to the car here, and before we do, we better get us here one of these. Don't want to run out of energy now. This has got all the protein and carbs you need to make it through a day. So, we talked about the history of the car, albeit, you know, with my finger in the camera a little bit, but we got the hood off now and get a real good look at her, and we'll kind of run you through what we got here. I was extra smart, and I decided to take this apart about 1.5 years ago because I was going to pull the motor out and slap in another one just because I didn't want to dick around with this. And well, you see how far that got me in the last 1.5 years. So, I mean, we got harnesses and something. Oh, there's fuel injection harness, which goes right about there. And got this valve cover off. I don't know why I took that off or why I keep standing in the sunlight. I mean, the shadow really helps give it some ambiance, doesn't it, guys? So, I'm going to go ahead and stand over here. And, yeah, number 7 there is the troublesome one. So, shortly we'll jack it up, roll underneath it, and pull the plugs. And I know some of you guys that aren't familiar with Camaros be like, well, why do you got to go underneath it? Well, I'll tell you. Because GM in these cars, for some reason, couldn't make a manifold that came out of the port, went down and alongside the bottom of the head like every other vehicle that was ever made, with the exception like the old ram horn manifolds on the old Tri-5 Chevys, probably up into the 60s. But yeah, so these go above the spark plugs, and it is absolutely impossible to get a spark plug out of this thing. Well, I guess I did take that wire off. That'll have to go back on number 2. But yeah, it's really hard to get spark plugs out of this car from the top. So you pretty much got to go underneath. Yeah, we got, you know, a bunch of stuff unplugged because I'm a genius. I'm pretty sure I left a distributor plug then, so that's a plus. We got, you know, vacuum lines, all the emission stuff, which of course I'll put back together. And we'll get all that. I took throttle, cruise cable. Yeah, that's a cruise cable, which doesn't work anyway, so the hell with that. Let's see, we do have, I think, yeah, we got some oil in there. I could change it, but really my goal here is to leave this oil in. Actually, I'm going to drain about 1.5 quarts out of it. Because if I can get those piston rings unstuck, I'm just going to go ahead and let that self-machine at a, well, anywhere from a low to extremely high RPM. And maybe all that oil will catch that in the old filter, and we'll go ahead and drain that out later. So, I mean, we got to check the transmission fluid, because if you're an ounce low in a 700 R4, it blows up. Yeah, it smells like a 700 R4, so, you know, they just can't handle this rockin' sockin' 195 horsepower that an LB9 puts out, so that's good. We're going to go ahead and leave that alone. We're going to go ahead and see if we got some rodent killer in here. I mean, you could use, oh fuck, it's full. If you have any leaking out, you can go ahead and save it in a pan and just put it out for, you know, the critters, the coyotes, the goddamn groundhogs that are in my yard, and, you know, stray cats, they don't go ahead and take care of them. So, I mean, the main reason I'm pulling this car out and getting a wrenching on it is, I'm sure if you're watching this video, you've seen everybody else on YouTube who actually inspired me to pull this out. So if you want to go watch someone that's smarter, knows more stuff, or just frankly is more entertaining, I mean, go check them out. I'm going to give a shout out to Vice Grip Garage and Derek. He does some awesome stuff. And of course, Finnegan's Garage. I mean, he's got some cool stuff going on there. And, you know, you got the motor trend without crying about the $5 a month. You check out Roadkill and all that stuff. But if you're cheap and you're dumb, you'll keep watching this video. And I appreciate if you do. So we are going to, we're going to go ahead and jack this thing up. We got the chrome GM jack, quality unit. Of course, I lost the jack handle. And, oh, God, get too old for this. So we just got a 1/2-inch extension, which fits right in there. Now, I'm going to tell you another thing about Camaros is, you see how poorly that fender lines up with the door? It's because people do dumb stuff, like jack them up by the pinch welds. And see, this is the main reason why these floors go out of these cars. If you're up here in the Midwest, upper Midwest, is you get people that jack up on the pinch weld. You see how that's folded over? It's supposed to be straight up and down, and it cracks all this paint. When it cracks the paint, rust gets in here, and it just rots the living piss out of the car. And that is really irritating, because now I gotta patch all this. I mean, the floors are great everywhere else, except from, you can see it starts here and works its way back because one guy was a fucking idiot. So if you're gonna jack up these cars, people, always go underneath the subframe, or there's even a jack point right here. That's what that's for. So you put her under there, and look at that. You can give her the beans, and it doesn't destroy the value of the car in 20 years. It's pretty simple, guys. So if you got an F-body or any unibody car, I don't care what the dealer says or how they pick them up. Never put them on the pinch weld, because you will destroy the car. All right? So we're going to go ahead and get this jacked up. Oh, you know, this is really hard to do with about a 12-inch extension, but we just need to get her up high enough to where a guy can get his big ass under there. There we go. So we'll go ahead and make a snip cut here, and I'm going to try and get myself under and show you what we're looking at when we try to pull the number 7 spark plug. Alright, so we're going to pull a plug, and of course I'm not going to leave a car on a jack. I'm not crazy, so we're going to go ahead and put a jack stand under there. And this Napa Power battery should be enough to keep me alive. Yeah, right about there if the car comes down. If not, I mean, I'm lucky enough to be holding my phone. I could probably dial 911 on it. So what you're going to need to go under this car is a ratchet, good old 5/8 spark plug socket. And I always take the rubber out of there because, boy, it is a pain getting a spark plug out of there. So let's roll under here. And if you don't have a ratchet, but you have a 5/8 socket, just lock your dick beater on there and twist her loose. Oh, last time I did this, I had a couple mud hornets and a couple wasps chase me out. So this ought to be fun. Go ahead and crawl. Oh my God, that got bad. I don't know if you guys can let me focus on that. This is a lower radiator support. I don't remember it being this bad last time I was under the car. Now, mind you, this thing sat outside for 20 plus years when I bought it. So, at least for the last 2 years, it's had the advantage of sitting in a garage. But, oh my Jesus. Doesn't matter if it's in a garage, folks. It's still gonna rust. Especially if you're in the Midwest with the... Oh, trying to squeeze my... Oh, crap. Now I'm stuck. Oh, oh. The air dam's still on this car, which is rare for a 3rd Gen F body. So you gotta go ahead and squeeze yourself under there. All right, we're going for the number 7 plug, which is somewhere up there. And we're going to go ahead and... Oh, yeah, there it is. You see it right above the oil filter there, the wire. Of course, I know a lot of guys recommend these, but I absolutely will always use Wix filters. They're just the best there is. I gotta tell you, unless you want to spend 20 bucks on an oil filter to do the same thing, just get a Wix. So we're gonna go ahead and pop the boot off there. There we go. Go ahead and flick the ratchet and get... I can't remember if I ever need an extension for one of these or... Oh, no. Oh, my God. I got that sun gun in there tight. Oh. Yeah, this car makes me want to be Jackie Gleason. Just some bitch. And get that thing out. Oh, I need a ratchet, so I'm going to go ahead and set you there and pull the socket off. There we go. I might be able to twirl this with the old fingers. Oh yeah. See, that's a nice thing when they start blowing oil in a cylinder. The threads are nice and lubricated, so you don't have to worry about seized up spark plugs or any of that jazz. Just got to worry about them being covered in oil and being impossible to turn out with your fingers. So you can see this spark plug wasn't firing at all. Look how clean that thing is. Just a whole bunch of nope. And there's oil on the threads, but it really doesn't look like it was on a porcelain or any of that stuff. There's not much of a heat mark. I don't know, maybe I threaded this plug in a year and a half ago and just decided not to run the car again. Yeah, but we got the old T.N.T 700, and I see we got another damn hole in the floor. I don't know where that one came from, but that's actually a fairly easy fix. I mean, that's about it. On the salt line of this car, being a Wisconsin original car, you're going to run into that kind of stuff, and, well, I guess you just got to live with it. You fix it or you beat it in the ground and destroy them. I know nobody cares about these 3rd gens because, oh, they're ugly and blah, blah, blah. Well, in my hillbilly opinion, oh, God, now I got to squeeze back out. These cars are about the last of the true muscle car Camaros. And, you know, they got a kind of a visceral rumble to them. You still got the long hood, you got the short deck, but it actually handles worth a damn. So we're gonna go ahead and scrounge up some parts and see if we can't get some juice in the cylinder. All right, so I don't know if this thing's gonna focus. Come on, focus. Must have some dust on my lens or something. So this is a Nixon. All right, so we're gonna get some juice in the cylinders here, and let me grab my beer that's been baking in the sun for that 5 minutes that we went underneath. And so we're gonna need a small hose to put underneath this car in a spark plug hole so we can feed some other stuff down in there. I can get that WD-40 can in there. Now the battery's probably dead in that. So we'll go out to the parts pile here. I wasn't kidding when I said I got some small block Chevys, some Dodges, all kinds of stuff. So we're going to see what we can rob for a hose that'll fit in the spark plug hole down in the combustion chamber and see what we can do. Oh man, I gotta mow some of this stuff down. Here's this other dead Camaro. If anyone wants this, go ahead and bring a chain or a trailer. Just drag it the hell out of here. Wow, them vines came right up through. And see if we can find I had a small vacuum hose, I guess would be the ticket. I'm pretty sure I robbed them all off. I'm gonna have to steal probably the valve cover bolts in a gasket off of that one, because I don't know where the other one went for my car. I found the valve cover, couldn't find the gaskets. Here we got another small block. So there might be a hose. Oh, maybe one of these here. These plastic lines, you can kind of oh, come on. If we go ahead and break the end off, that's just fine. That's actually what I intended to do, but how many mounts do they need on this thing? So we'll go ahead and pull this off the throttle body, which is... Oh, that's got a clamp on it. Okay, yeah. There we go. You can dribble some stuff down there, and this has got enough bends and elbows to get her down in the spark plug hole. So we're going to go ahead and use that to just put some of the cleaner down there. I'll come back and wrap some stuff off here so we can have a valve cover gasket and some bolts. And yeah, seriously though, get this piece of shit out of here. And this too, other than the box. I'm keeping the box. Yeah, but go ahead and take the rest. It runs kinda. Burns a lot of oil. Don't know why that is. Usually Magnums are pretty good. Motor in that one is actually the one going into the car eventually. That's a 4-bolt Vortec 350 in this one. So I'm gonna go ahead and rob that out. And I don't know if I'm gonna put a Scoggin Dickey T.P.I base on it or just put a carburetor on it and say to hell with it. I kind of want to keep the T.P.I for the originality, but you guys go ahead and comment down on your experiences. If you've had a Vortec motor with a T.P.I on it, if it's actually worth the screwing around. Or, I mean, of course I want to keep my kick down working. I want to keep everything working on this car. If I go carburetor, and don't say Edelbrock, for the love of God. I mean, they're fine carburetors. You know, they work great out of the box, but anytime I see someone slap an Edelbrock on, it's like you just gave up, didn't you? You know, throw a Holly on it. On this one, if I went carbureted, honestly, I'd probably put a Quadrajet on it, because it's got everything a guy needs for all the factory stuff in the car. And there's nothing wrong with a Quadrajet. They could make a nice high-performance carb, but you just got to know how to work on them. And like I said, I'd like to keep T.P.I, clean that up, but I'm just kind of going for bang for the buck. I don't mind spending a couple $1,000s, but I mean, if I slap that T.P.I on there and ain't no faster than this 305, I'm gonna be a little upset. So I've heard guys say you could get 300, 350 horse out of a T.P.I with Vortec heads and yada, 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 yada. And I'm going to slap an LT4 hot cam in it probably, and then immediately blow up the 700 R4. But that'll be another video. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to snake this tube down in there, and we're going to feed a little juice into that cylinder. Well, before we get too far, I got that tube stuck in the spark plug hole of the Camaro. So what I really need is my battery charger. I've got that on here on this old Jeep here with the blown head gasket. This was another one of my projects that I actually really liked. And that'll teach you a lesson, folks. Don't loan stuff out unless you really trust the person, because hey, this has got a 2.5-inch lift. Did all the stuff on it, put the brush guard, and got the real nice wheels and tires on them, and did kind of the whole trail hawk deal to it. And you let someone drive it when it's 50 below and they don't watch the temp gauge, because no matter how much you prepare, unless you run a straight antifreeze, you run the risk of, you know, not gelling up, but it getting just slightly frozen where it won't make it through a passage, and you end up blowing a head gasket. So we got the crappy Harbor Freight on there. We'll see if she fires up. I want my battery charger back so I can charge the battery for the Camaro so we can roll it over and all that stuff we need to do. Now, oh God, it's hot in here. And it's showing voltage, so. Oh, it started. I thought it was just starter grinding. Yeah, she fired right up. This thing's been sitting for a year. I don't know if there's any coolant in it, but this thing, oh yeah, there you go. There's the coolant. Yeah, that's nifty. Yeah, I love this Jeep too. AC works in it and everything. I rebuilt the motor myself, and well, these old 4.7 Magnums, they're just garbage. This one's a high output, so it's got the better cams in it and intake and all that, but God, they're just terrible motors, really. You run them a quart of oil low and they just blow up on you. So yeah, don't overheat them, because that's what happens when you have sludgy coolant when it's 50 minus negative 400 out, and you watch temp gauge just click over here, and then you just go ahead and drive her till she cools down enough. Once it starts melting, that's how you ruin them. Most of us, if you're watching this video, are smart enough. Once that gets here and it starts going there, oh, shut it off, and then the heat in the block will melt any blockages if your coolant isn't good enough to a low temperature. So you run her up the operating temp, she starts cooling, shut her down, and that heat will go through the system and get any of the chunks and stuff out, so you don't blow a goddamn head gasket and then, you know, give it back with no oil pressure. I fixed the oil pressure issue, but yeah, she was clattering like hell. So just word to the wise, don't let people use stuff. Oh man, the AC is already cold. God, I miss this thing. This actually is a nice ride. Maybe I will put a head gasket in it. Maybe I'll just put head gasket in a can in it. I don't know. You guys tell me. If you've worked on a 4.7 liter Magnum in a Grand Cherokee, or any vehicle for that matter, you know how much of a pain it is. And that's kind of what stopped me, because I've already had the motor out of this. I already flipped her around, rebuilt her, and all that stuff. And yeah, so yeah, just go down in the comments and, you know, let me know what you think. It ain't smoking as bad now, so it's probably out of coolant. So that's how you fix a head gasket leak. Just don't put coolant in it. So I'm gonna go ahead and rob the battery charger off here, and this is one of them newfangled units, and I'm sure you've seen it before, but the people who don't know, I'll show you how to charge a dead battery with one of these, because these will not turn on unless they send voltage coming back to them. So we'll go ahead and get this closed up. I actually got to move this so I can mow and all that. So we'll show you how that is in a second. Well, we got the Jeep moved, and the good news is we immediately blew a brake line. So that's helpful. But yeah, she quit on me here, and I had to hold her right to the floor and just crank the piss out of her. She came back to life. Can't imagine this got anything to do with one cylinder being full of water. Oh my God, look at that. It cleaned right up. Huh. Yeah, just leaks till it gets hot. We'll just sell it like that. I mean, sounds good. Oil pressure's good. A great sound of motors, but just something else to work on it. Yeah, it's got to be out of coolant. So we're gonna go ahead and pretend it's fine. Just shut it off here. Oh, it smells kind of hot, like some sort of wiring burning, but it goes down and take the garage with it, so that's fine. So now I'm going to show you guys how to charge a dead battery with one of these stupid new age battery chargers. So we're going to go ahead and drag this, all the extension cords with it. Yeah, I know I need to mow my lawn. That was my first intention today. And then I'm like, how about we do something stupid like get this damn cart running? So we'll drag the Charger over here. Go ahead and get the cord caught up in the front wheel of my Harley. That'd probably make a dumb day worse. Go ahead and yank on it and tip over a beautiful Softail. So there we go, we're close enough. Now we'll grab the tools we need to charge that battery. So one of which is underneath the hood of this Jeep here. Go ahead and come back around, not beam my head on the clothesline. Go ahead and pop the hood. Got some bolts up here that are, yeah, when I started this thing with a side post battery. So there we go, just breaking my hood prop there, that's fine. All right, got some bolts that'll thread right into that battery. Now we need the old lawnmower here, and I'll show you why. We're gonna go ahead and grab these, throw them on the seat. Now here's another piece of ingenuity, is this here mower. It used to have the old forward back selectometer with the go pedal. Well, that all these blow up. This is an MTD. They're awful. So I had this old Craftsman laying around. I just decided to put the 6-speed out of the Craftsman into this here thing. So we'll show you how that works. That little primer mark there, that's neutral. So pretty much you ain't got no numbers. You have from some send to full send to reverse send, and then there's no send in the middle. So we'll go ahead and crank her up. Got to put your foot on the old brake there. There we go. Give her a little beans, and the go pedal still goes. So instead of having a clutch, you just mat that thing to the footboard there. So we'll go ahead and we'll go full send and just give her. I'll come around this way. It's actually a nice little machine after you place the garbage on it. Get rid of that MTD crap, put some fine Craftsman garbage in it. But we'll show you how to charge a battery here. Position the mower, and I know you're asking yourself, why the hell be riding this lawnmower to charge a battery? And no, I'm not going to put jumper cables on it and hook it to a battery. But you'll find out. Oh, so we'll go ahead and grab our jack stand because I'm done under the car for now. And I got plenty of these jack stands laying around. I don't know how good this battery is. She's probably shot, but she's from Napa. It says power on it, and that's what we're looking for, is power in it. So we'll go ahead and thread these crappy bolts in there. I really don't need the washers, so just need something to snick up against here. So now I'll show you what I mean with these battery chargers. They have to sense voltage, because in today's society, people are too stupid to be trusted with a battery charger, I guess. So we'll go ahead and see, plus is red. Unless you're running a 6-volt negative, positive ground system, plus is always red, people. So unless I put it together, then who knows what it was. So we're gonna go ahead and get that off her. There we go. Oh, jeez. Good enough. So we got that on there. You can see it is. Well, maybe it is. She is charging. This does have a little juice in it. Just a snick of juice. You see that's charging. Usually, if you got a dead battery, that won't light up. So I'll go ahead and show you anyway what you got to do. So just get yourself a good battery. You got your negative and your positive. And you can do this with just a pair of wires, jumper cables, or whatever. But I got these here fancy test leads that you just yank out and they retract. So you just take your black wire and go ahead and hook it to the negative of that battery. Take your red wire, hook it to the positive, and you go ahead and do the same up here. Hook them up, so that way that charger sees a voltage signal and will start charging that battery. And after a while, you could just snick these off, and she'll start charging on her own. But obviously, this one still had a little bit of juice left in her, so we're just going to go ahead and let her charge. And these Harbor Freight chargers are really good because, you know, when they're really charging a battery, they start smelling like fire. So keep that in mind. It's working good when it smells like it's about ready to burst into flames. So let's we'll reconvene in a second. Should I start every segment with me grabbing another beer? I don't know. I think it's the thing to do. But what we're gonna do now is we're finally gonna put some juice down in the cylinders, and I've got several juices, so we're going to start with one, get that battery charged up so we can spin her over, and blow all that out, and put another one in, let it set, and blow all that out. We're just going to go product after product, just for maximum goodness. So, we'll go over to the parts getter here, and grab our goodies out of here. So we got some ATF. Most of that's going to go in the oil pan. Got some PB, which is what we'll start out with. Then some WD. Then we got this here high mileage oil treatment. It's got, it says it stops leaks, noise, and smoking. We'll put that to the test. We'll write them a letter afterwards if it don't work. So I figured we'll start out with the hardest stuff, go with some PB Blaster here, and just shoot some of that down in the cylinder. We got our cylinder reconditioning hose in here. This is run down there, and now you can't see it past all the emission stuff, which of course I'll put back together to stay emissions compliant. So we're gonna go ahead and we're just gonna flick. There we go. Well, what the? Aha! That's got a selectometer on there. All right. I don't know why you'd want anything other than just get her down in there, and well, that don't work. Well, hold on a second. We'll go ahead and set the camera up somewhere. Just, that way you can not have to deal with my shaky hands so much. So, got an old battery here, and there, got her set up, and go ahead and squirt some juice in here. Just keeps wanting to come out. Just got to get a firm grip on it. Oh, that don't work either. Yeah, maybe pulling this elbow. There we go. Look at that. See, that's, you gotta be at least 10% smarter than what you're doing. So I'm shit out of luck. There we go. She's going in now, I'm sure. We'll just go ahead and keep piling her in there until she starts pouring on the ground. I don't know if there's a block in this hose or something. Well, she just doesn't want to go down in there. I figure she's got a fairly tight seal. Oh, yeah, she's dripping out now. No, PB ain't bad. It kind of tastes like parsley. You know, when you were a kid and you go to them really awful like Italian restaurants, give you that little green leafy thing to garnish the dish, and you'd eat it because you were dumb. That's what PB tastes like, by the way. I wouldn't recommend it at home unless you're really curious, and go for it. So we got the PB down in there, and we're going to go ahead and let that soak. We're going to steal a valve cover gasket and the bolts for this side. We'll go ahead and slap that on, and then Well, we'll do a bunch of stuff and then roll her over, put some more stuff in it, do some more stuff, and then roll her over again, and just a little bit of transmission fluid down in there and stuff the spark plug back in and connect all this stuff and see if we can't get it running. Well, it's about 3 hours later and I still can't find my 10 mil to go ahead and rob a valve cover off of one of those out back. So I'm going to go ahead and jump on the Harley. I've got most of my tools in my semi down in town there. It's about a 10-minute ride each way. So, and I'm sweating more than a whore in church. So we're going to hop on that, go get the tools we need, and come on back and just steal that valve cover off and slap her on this one so we can fire her up without oil going everywhere and crank her over. Of course, we'll crank it over and I'll show you with the valve cover off to see when we got oil pressure and when she's safe to run. So after we get back from grabbing some tools out of the truck, we'll have this thing wrapped up in no time. Well, we're going to go ahead and grab some tools out of the old moneymaker here. See if we can find what we need. I know it's it's not the best store. There we go. We got some tools in there. What size we got there? Look at that. It says 10 on it. So we're going to go ahead and stick that in the back pocket. Figure while we're in here. Let's see. That's all. That's all that standard stuff that we like so much here in the US of A. But, you know what? We'll just grab 10, worry about the other tools later. Go ahead and grab these vice grips because God knows we're going to need them. So, there we go. We'll go ahead and toss them in the old Harold Danielson here and ride on back and get to working on the Camaro. I tell you what, ain't nothing gets your blood pumping like riding a nice V-twin, especially one that's built up, high compression, all that. You sport bike guys might be able to go, 250,000 miles an hour, but just jump on one of these and feel the torque as it's trying to rip you right off the handlebars. There's definitely nothing like it. Plus the smell of race gas. You can't beat that. So we went and got our tools, which you've seen before. And then, of course, I had to stop at the old LC, or liquor store, as some people might call it. I call it liquor center. Because, about 10 minutes into this job, I realized it's not a 12-pack job. So we went ahead and got ourselves four tall boys just to make sure we make it through her. Go ahead and there's a 1/4-inch ratchet and vice grips, and there's that, and don't mind the handle of that there. We're just going to go ahead and put that in the back in the saddlebag. There it is. Here's the extension and stuff. We'll just go ahead and hide that again because, well, I mean, this is, ain't a family-friendly show, but we're just going to go ahead and avoid the social justice warriors, and we're going to go ahead and, once I get those beers put away, we're going to grab tools, go ahead, grab valve cover, and get ready to spin this car over, put some more junk in the cylinder, spin it over again, and we'll show you just how oil pressure builds in a small block so you know it's safe to fire. Well, we're going to go ahead and rob a valve cover here, so we'll take these tools and see if we can't get what we need. Walk on back to the vehicle pile. I grew up a Chevy guy, but I got a lot more running Dodges around here than Chevys. I'm just saying. I mean, some of you might not like the small block Mopar, but I feel they're pretty good. I also love my small block, big block Chevys and all that. So we're gonna choose a valve cover that works. It's pretty much be the easiest one to get off without me getting poison ivy or anything like that. So we're gonna go over to this here Chevy pickup and probably rob the driver's side off of it because, oh yeah, it's got the fill tube in there. So go ahead and get our ratchet ready. See if I can do this with one hand. Oh, almost. Yeah, there we go. Go ahead and throw my cigarette into the grass so that starts a fire. So we're gonna hit. There we go. Go ahead and get these loose here. That's the nice thing about these center bolt valve covers. There's a lot less to do on these. The swirl port, the T.P.I heads, the LT1 heads, Vortec, all of them are all center bolt. And that's the way you can really tell the age of an engine is if it's got these here center bolt valve covers. Most likely it's a 87 and up. The earlier ones that had the perimeter bolts, you know, all the way around, those are most likely 86 and older, unless, you know, you got a engine with swapped heads and all that. But predominantly, if you find one with the center bolt valve covers, it's probably also a roller motor, which means it's got roller lifters, which means you can go ahead and slap a cam in one of these, and if you really want it to be cheap, just go ahead and reuse the factory lifters, because with rollers you really don't have to worry about wiping out a cam unless your retainers break and one of your rollers turns sideways, and well, if that's the case, you're in for a heap of trouble. Probably worse than wiping out a regular old flat tappet, if you ask me. But we'll go ahead and get all these out and rob this valve cover here off of this truck 305 that nobody cares about. Sorry about the burps there, but you know, you can't do this without drinking beer. Oh, come on. We're gonna go ahead and stuff this in here so we can get the darn, you know, I've been wrenching for 10 years and I remember now why I quit, because my God, can't just make something where you could take it apart without pulling the alternator off and its bracket, or have some damn wiring doodad in the way, or this here. This booster hose goes into a metal line which wraps around the back of the valve cover, which we'll just go ahead and bend out of the way. But Jiminy Crickets, it just ain't agreeing with you, you know? Just go ahead and grab these harnesses and pull as hard as you can. Just give her a yank. Here, I thought I was grabbing the easiest valve cover. I should have pulled the one off the Camaro, to be honest. Well, I'm going to go ahead and just rip all the spark plug wires off. I don't care if they go back on. Just pull them off the distributor. Just all of them. The hell with it. Just yank them all off. That way you ain't got to worry about it. Yeah, just rip them through there and whatever the hell this harness is. And just shove that out of the way. Oh yeah, you always got something stuck to the back of the head because packaging is not an issue from the plant. Just, oh yeah, there we go. See, you just gotta tear everything apart to get it what you need. Because I really need this gasket, so we'll go ahead and grab the bolts. I'm sure half the washers are missing. Oh no, they're all on there, so Got a nice blue valve cover on a Camaro, and don't worry about that. We got the hood on it, so that'll just flash rust instantly. So we'll just go ahead and keep doing what we're doing here. Grab my tools and run back over to the Camaro. There we go. Back through the Legion of Doom here. Meanwhile, yeah, something like that. So just walk on back to the car here, and we'll see if the battery's got enough charge in it to crank it over and go ahead and launch some of that spunk juice out of the cylinder and refill her, and we'll see if we can't get some oil pressure through her. So I'll set up the camera, and after I toss the battery in and on the driver's side head there, see if we can't see some oil coming up. So just go ahead and put that valve cover and those tools there. And these bolts, just drop them wherever. Gravel is a great Loctite, so just remember that. So we'll throw the battery in, set the phone up so you guys can go ahead and have a gander here and see if we got oil coming up through the push rods and onto the rockers. And then we'll re-lube that cylinder. It might blow my hose right out of here because it was kind of a tight fit. So we'll see. Going to find some battery bolts, and a guy needs to have a bolt drawer. So we're going to find some bolts that'll thread into a battery. That'll probably work. And some nuts to fit the battery. Oh, that ain't it. There we go. That's another one that'll probably work. I just need some nuts that I can thread on here. Yeah, that's fine thread. That ain't gonna work. So we'll go ahead and just slink through this. Yeah, that might work. I don't know. Let's see. I'm not having convulsions here. I'm just trying to keep the flies off my arm. Oh, for the love of... Come on. Let's go. You know, I don't think that one's going to work. So we'll go ahead and do some more digging. That's way too big. Oh, that might work there. So we should have a... Oh, here we go. We got this nice brand new battery in that obviously hadn't sat out in the sun for years. So we'll go ahead and grab the wrench here and go ahead and just tighten her up. If you ain't got the battery bolts, that's all right. Just find some bolts that thread in and throw an ass pile of washers on it just so you get the terminal tight. So we'll let me grab my phone stand so we can go ahead and look at this from afar. So we're gonna just kind of move it over here, and maybe, well, we'll move you to the other side. That way we can get a wide shot of just how hillbilly this is. So we're gonna set that there, and well, lemony snickets, come on. All right. So you go ahead and grab your wrench here, and like I said, if you ain't got the right bolts, just ram some in there. Just so they're tight. You just want the terminals tight because GM, some reason, really love these side posts. And now this car has a black cable on the positive side, so just look for the cable coming off that would go over the alternator, so you know you're not just wiring up backwards and starting the whole car on fire. I kind of like this car. I'd like to keep it in one piece. And by the by, when you're hooking a battery up, always, while you're hooking it up or disconnecting it, pull the negative side off first if you're taking a battery out, and hook the negative side up last when you're putting one in, because that eliminates, shock and all that. When you're putting a positive side on, putting a new battery in, you can't shock yourself because there's nothing grounding it to the car if you leave the negative off. So we'll go ahead and just about got this snipped up here, and there we go. That's probably enough to crank the motor over. So we're going to go ahead and I'll pick up the phone there and I'll show you how to unplug the coil so we don't have any fire shooting out of here, because this is absolutely covered in oil. So I'll show you what you need to do on these older Chevys, the remote coil HEIs, to disable them. So right here you got 2 plugs on the remote coil, and you just go ahead and pop them off. Don't ask me which is which, because I couldn't tell you. So now the ignition's disabled. We know we got the fuel injectors disconnected, so there's no fuel going in the cylinder to wash out my stuff there. So we're going to see if this actually turns over after sitting, and see just how much junk she shoots out of that cylinder over there. So now we got battery. Maybe we'll put the charger on her. Just give her a little extra juice here. It's nice to know she turns over still, so we'll go ahead and grab these. And these new chargers, you can go ahead and shake them together and touch terminals, and they won't do squat till you touch them to a battery, which I'm sure is great for Generation X, T, Z, whatever it is. But I'm a millennial. I'm 34 years old and I could still figure this out. So I'll go ahead and have a look-see here. Is she charging? Oh God, that is just hotter than the dickens. There we go. We'll put her on full send and give her a whirl and spray all that crap out of that cylinder. Yeah, that's probably good enough. We'll go ahead and let her charge a little longer. But so we probably got that stuff blowed out now. I don't know if we can see it down on the ground there. That I was trying to launch it back up through the hose, which could have happened, but we ain't got no oil pressures up here yet, so we'll let the battery charge a little longer. That way we can really get this rolling over and get some oil up through the push rods. And then we'll go ahead and put some more stuff down in the cylinder. Alright, well, we went ahead and got the battery in. You seen that. Got the alternator in. Got the belt on. I haven't hooked the power up yet just because we're going to crank on her a little bit. I went ahead and pulled the tube out of the number 7 and shot some WD in there. It's been sitting for a while. So we'll go ahead and see if she cranks over, and if I can reach and give you guys a shot of the rockers here. Oh, this damn key. There we go. Oh, that battery really sucks, doesn't it? But I don't know, it looked like they were all moving, so I mean, we couldn't get her spinning fast enough to get the oil pressure up here, so I'm gonna go ahead and put the valve cover on and clean up that one spark plug, throw her back in, and she'll spin a lot faster when she's got spark and fuel, I'll tell you that much. So we're gonna go ahead and do that and see how she goes. Leave it to GM to do something weird. That alternator charging bolt, I looked at it and I figured, oh, it's an 8 mil. So, well, that didn't fit. So I went ahead and grabbed this rusty socket that you can't even read what it is anymore. And once you know it, it's the right one. Now, if you do things ass backwards like I do, you want to make sure, because the angle of your dangle here, where you got to run that ratchet in, it's going to hit a whole lot of mellow. And seeing as you're charging the battery at the same time, go ahead and take a pair of gym shorts and just throw it over everything you need so you don't whack it and send sparks everywhere. Well, she did pop over there, so. Oh, she ain't happy. Look at that tack. Got some blow-by out in the valve cover. Okay, we got a lot of blow-by out in the old valve cover. Yeah, I don't know. I think this motor's cooked there, boys. So the battery just fell off the roof. Yeah, I think she's trying to idle on her own. I think she's she's pretty well toast. Of course, that could be all the stuff I done poured down in there. You never know. And maybe I got them 2 injectors swapped. You never know. That might be why she's running so rough. So we'll go ahead and have a gander at this side. You see how they're crossed over like that. And I don't know, maybe I just went ahead and, oh no, that feels like that's the one there. So, like I said, this ain't got no gas in it, but, oh, we got a fuck of a leak. Oh, shit. Got a leak from hell there, boys. Don't know what it is. Smells like varnish. It's got to be the gas. Yeah, I think we got ourselves a fuel line leak, at least a return. Oh, that smells terrible. Yeah, that's probably, we're gonna go ahead and run it a little more and see if we can't get her to idle on her own. Wow, what the? Oh, she's a cooked old 305, isn't she? Oh, we'll go ahead and... Yeah, that fuel really smells like varnish air. I don't know what to tell you. I'll let this battery charge a little more. We'll crawl underneath her, see if we can bypass that, and see if we can bring her back to life yet without all the smoke. Oh, we got her running. That's very good. You can feel the air coming right out of the valve cover there. Just puffing right out. Oh, she stinks. We're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna set the phone down here for a second. I'm gonna hook up the PCV valve. Maybe that'll help me run a little better. Yeah, that went ahead and made her quit. But let's see if we can get her to fire back up now that we got the old PCV hooked back up. Maybe she'll eat some of her own oil. For some reason my tack quit working and my screen is blurry. Don't know why that is. Yeah, she's running good. Running real good. Oh, I think she may be out of gas. Well, I guess we're going to have to revisit this. We'll put some gas in her that's not a year and a half old, 2 years old, and we'll see what she does. So I think this is where a guy is going to call her good for a video. We got a massive return line fuel leak there, which I don't have any hose laying around to be able to fix that, and I'd rather not burn the entire car down to the ground until, you know, at least I get the full coverage back on her. She's just got storage insurance, so she's out of gas. So I figured before I put new gas in, we just let it self-drain all the old stuff out, which I ain't kidding you. You could strip the paint off a 48 Plymouth with that gas. It's bad. I'll go back through and make sure I didn't make any errors hooking the injectors up, which I probably did, and recheck the timing. It's still dead on a cylinder, and I'm willing to bet it's that one back there. With all the crud I had put into the cylinder, I just went ahead and took a spark plug out of one of them trucks way back there, one of the Chevys, and then just stuffed her in there because we knew we were going to ruin it anyway. So, oh, I don't know when we'll touch this car again. Maybe in a week. That's what I'm guessing. We'll throw a spark plug in her, some fresh gas, fix that fuel leak, and you could see how hard she was huffing and puffing. You know, like a wolf blowing down the Three Little Piggies house. And hopefully the stuff I put in there goes ahead and soaks into them rings, pops them. So there you go, guys. We will we'll come back to this car as soon as I get the time. I mean, I drive over the road, and that's the driving's going to be a part of the content for this here channel, and just doing guy stuff. And we don't exclude the women, of course. If women want to do stuff like this, work on their cars, I mean, even if they want to work on their lawnmower or anything they want to do, it'll all be on this channel. And we don't exclude you women. You're guys like the rest of us. So there we go. One of the videos will be about my 1970 pop-up there. That's actually in pretty good shape. We got that old piece of shit there that, well, that's going away because someone's dumb enough to trade me a 3/4 ton V10 not club, but quad cab short bed Ram for that 318 half ton. So I'm going to go ahead and make that trade because, you know, it just seems like it's worth it. And we'll do little stuff like welding the new jack on that trailer, and that'll be a little bit about the content of this video. Just some dumb hillbilly up here in Wisconsin doing dumb stuff with his dumb things. So I hope you guys decide to subscribe to this channel, and, well, let's hope we see this car. Well, this car will run again, and we will drive it. Don't know what'll come out of it more, smoke from the engine or smoke from the tires. It does have a G80 posi in it with a, it's got some kind of gear in the rear end. I don't know if it's a 273, 308, 323. I don't remember the RPO code in the car, but she does run. We did get her running. I'd say I'd do that. So she's just out of fuel. I got to fix that fuel leak, and it just ain't worth me screwing around right now because I'm pretty dehydrated. So I need a couple more beers to get myself going, and then I got to go to town and get some parts, and we'll do all that. And then we'll have a couple videos on this here Ram. It's a pretty nice truck, and well, there we go. So we will we'll definitely see you guys in a future video involving this car and some other videos, which, I mean, I would really enjoy it if you guys subscribe to this channel and like this video. I mean, it's not much. It doesn't have the production quality or the mechanicking quality, but I will hand you out a lot of good information between working on these old Chevys, working on Dodges, working on the lawnmowers, working on the Harleys. And if you guys enjoy seeing stuff about a guy driving a semi with the straight pipes and a Cummins with a loud Jake brake, and just seeing what life is like out here in, well, south central Wisconsin, a guy doing what he's got to do to make some money, I'd sure enjoy it to provide you guys that kind of content. And I'd really like it if you guys drop me a comment and, well, tell me what you like to see and what I'm doing wrong so I can keep doing it, or what I should do right so I could just scroll on past. And I'll try to respond to all your guys' comments. I mean, I can only do so much going down the road, so that's where I spend a bulk of my time. So when I get time at home like this to get the old Camaro running, before we put the new motor in it. And you guys will see videos of that, taking that there Vortec motor and slapping a hot hog stick in it. And seeing what we can do with it to blow up everything behind it. Just stay tuned and just tell me what you want to see. I mean, this is just a guy doing guy stuff, and you ladies are included too. So thanks for watching.